I've never felt my life just pause. Like time just froze for me. Everything just froze and I stayed still. And like I tried so hard to like hold everything back. And then I just like I let it all out. And then I remember going to my coach's office like in shambles right now. Like I didn't even go to class. I didn't go anywhere. Like I just went to like to my coach's office, like literally with the same hoodie, just hooded down, not even talking to anybody. And I told him, and like some players heard it because they were outside because I had a meeting with him. And like he was like, "Oh, it's okay. Like I'm so sorry, this and that. You know, like it's not your fault. Like I love you, this and that." And it just got so emotional, so much so to like the end, like at the end of practice, I told everybody, and like everybody just came and like hugged me and everything. And we're like, "Oh, like we love you, this and that. Like you're tough as nails and everything." And that was like the one time where I'm like, bro, like I feel loved by a team. You know, like I got all these friends.
You didn't feel like an individual.
Yeah. I didn't feel like an outcast. You know, so.
Welcome, guys, to episode 3. It's hard to believe we're already 3 episodes in. Got my man Manny here, college football player. He's taking the time out of his day to come talk to you guys. So, Manny, if you can please introduce yourself. What school did you go to?
So my name is Manny. For high school, I went to G. Holmes Bragg Senior High. And for college, I ended up going to, I started off my career at Geneva College and then ended up finding a better opportunity and transferred to Chestnut Hill College, which is located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Philly.
Yep.
Was that the first time you saw snow, or was it the first time you went to like a cold state or anything like that?
I didn't see too much snow in Philly. I think I seen it like once or twice when I was there, but Pittsburgh, It was crazy snow. Like come November, come December, January, February, it's like snowing every single day. And I'm like, man.
Culture shock. You go from Miami to somewhere else and snowing.
Right? I mean, I'm gonna be real, it's like cute and all, and it's nice when it's like Christmas time. But after Christmas time, it's like, all right, man, like when's this gonna stop? You know, like going out, just walking to class, slipping and sliding everywhere.
People don't know, man. Like if you live in Miami and you've never seen snow, like I lived in Ohio for a while for one of the schools I went to, and I said the same thing. I was like, man, the first couple of days you're like, wow, snow, all this. Then you're like, all right, when's winter over?
Right.
when can I go home?
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like it's hot. It's very hot in Miami, but I took it for granted, and I saw like the hard way. That's like, bro, I'd rather be hot as hell than being cold and freezing and my ears hurting and not feeling my hands and my head hurting and everything. Like it really gets to you after a while.
And then when you play too, the balls are rock, and then having to hit when it's really cold. Oh my Lord.
No, bro, my biggest pet peeve was getting cleated during that time. Bro, you felt it from start to finish.
In your bones.
Yes, man. That was horrible. And like you said, catching the ball, bro,
like fingertips are numb, you know, like
the amount of jam fingers I've gotten, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So speaking of high school, so did you play multiple sports? Did you just play football? What would you do?
Coming into high school, I mean, I always wanted to go different routes, but I mainly chose to strictly be into football. My last year, I considered going to wrestling actually, but I didn't want to cut that way because my goal for college football is getting like bigger, you know, putting out weight, because I was going to college, like 155, 160. So
same as me. Yeah.
Like almost everybody going into that freshman year, if you're not a lineman or like even linebackers, they go in undersized. So, you know, like I felt like wrestling was going to just like
completely take you in the wrong direction.
Yeah, exactly. And then I wanted to run track and field, but again, my main focus was football and just getting better on the field and like, like sticking in the weight room. Eventually, I did get faster throughout the years, like running track in college. I was getting the opportunity for that, thankfully. Mm-hmm. But like, I wish I could have done that in high school. I feel like I would have been a way faster player.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about your first school. What was the name of the first school?
Wait, high school?
College.
Geneva.
So how talk to me about Geneva. How did it go there?
Well, I'll start from scratch. So coming out of high school, I didn't get too many schools that were looking at me. You know, I didn't have the best highlight tape. Mm-hmm. But eventually, they were one of the first ones to reach out to me, as well as many others. But me, I did a mistake on just staying loyal to that very first school and like jumped the gun and just blocked everything out. Basically, I said, you guys came to me first. I want to stay loyal. I want to go to you guys, you know. So during the offseason, I'm getting recruited as a receiver. Get this, as a receiver. So my whole offseason, I'm working out as a receiver. Come middle of the summer, I get like, they put me in group chats, whatever, you know, like we're getting the ball rolling. I'm in the defensive chat and I'm like,
defensive chat? You're like, what?
Yeah. I was like, and I contacted the coach that recruited me. I'm like, hey coach, how come I'm on defense? Like, oh, we decided to process you and go to linebacker. And I'm like, coach, I am 155. I'm going to get shredded by these linemen.
Not even a DB, but a linebacker.
By linemen, man. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be a rough time. But, you know, I was like, you know what? If that's what's gonna get me on the field, let's go.
Dug it out.
Yeah, like I was going all in. This is the first school that gave me the chance to really prove myself. So I was going all in. So come first day of campus, everything goes good. I'm getting all the gear. I'm like, damn, this is the college experience. Like I'm meeting everybody. I'm meeting all the players, all the first teams, second teams, honorable mentions, all these players. And then I'd say after 2 days, like it was pretty emotional for me because my parents came and dropped me off, and that was the first time I ever lived without my parents. So
I remember that moment.
Yeah. That was rough. I spent the whole night crying, but eventually, my teammates came and like picked me up. Which, regardless of how bad my experience was in this school, one thing I could take away is that like I made bonds that could last me lifetimes.
Awesome. Having friends in different states goes a long way for sure. Yeah.
And then also a lot of enemies, but that's for later on. So
you can find those anywhere. Yeah, that's normal.
Right?
That's normal.
So after like 3 or 4 days of playing outside linebacker, we're not even in pads yet. They go, "Oh, we saw you played safety in high school. How about we move you to corner?" And I'm like, "Man, what is going on?
That's not the position either."
That's like the third time I'm getting moved. But I'm like, but you know what? I said, true. I said, you know what? Let's go. I'm willing to just go all in. If you want me to play corner, I am playing corner. And obviously, safety and corners are two different things. You could be a testament to that.
For sure.
And I struggled at first, but you know what? It happened, man. Like going to the first position, especially in college, not even high school, college. It was rough, but I enjoyed getting better every single day, and then just going to scrimmages against other schools. It was fun, And then I'd say, I obviously didn't play too much of my first year. My first year was just about like an experiment, just getting better, But every week, I could definitely feel like I'm getting better and better and better and better. And I'm catching up to the guy that's in front of me.
So let's touch back on one part of your story. So when you said they moved positions on you, you're in the defensive group chat. At that point, you were already committed, right? You did your FAFSA, you did everything. Yeah, everything is in line. You did everything. You moved your life over there.
Yep, it's all in. All in. I accepted my awards. Took out the loans to go to school.
Right.
I was all in.
Right. So this is a great point, guys, to talk about. This is the part of the reason of the podcast. So what happened to Manny also happened to myself. Sometimes recruiting coaches, they'll tell you everything, all the sweet nothings in your ear to get you there. Manny can attest to that.
Very.
But when you get there, all those dreams they sold you, you get there and you're like, this is not what I wanted. Look, they moved Manny's position twice. We're just in the beginning of the story. He's already been moved to 3 different positions. You know what I'm saying? So definitely do your homework on the school you're going to, the recruiting coach, maybe talk to other players that are already there. Nowadays, we have our phones. You can go to the Instagram, find players, ask the players that are already there. Hey, how's this coach? Is he full of it? What were you gonna say? Sorry.
No. The easiest way to find everything is Twitter. Surprisingly, okay. Literally, Twitter. just you could find schools and players and just slide into the DMs.
Okay,
literally, just talk, man. Literally, like some coaches will tell you. Players will tell you their experience from there, and that goes a long way. I wish I would have known that at my time, so I could have asked the players, "Yo, how's the school, this and that,
And they'll give you honest feedback.
Yeah,
they're already there.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe you can dodge a bullet,
right?
So yeah, definitely. So definitely do your homework, guys, on the schools you go to, the coaches there, because those things, unfortunately, they can be very deceiving sometimes.
You're our number one guy.
So
basic common line.
So so let's take a step back. So going from high school to college, right? You were saying you committed to them first.
Yes.
Right. Is there a reason why, like, just because they were your first offer, you committed to them?
Yeah. I thought loyalty would take me a long way, to be honest.
Gotcha. And then, so this is another topic, guys. So when you're getting offers from schools, always keep your options open, right? Yep. So, and maybe even take it a step further. This is a little like a bargaining chip. Let them know, hey, this school is looking at me. This school is looking at me. This school is looking at me. Or let them know, like, give them an honest feedback. Hey, look, you guys are in my top 3, or hey, guys, like, I have a top 3. You guys are kind of like on the back end, but I do appreciate you reaching out. Like, never burn the bridge when a college reaches out to you. Never act like you're above seeing them, but also like make it a little competitive, because in a way you're kind of negotiating in a little bit,
Right, you're getting leverage over some like schools.
And someone like you or myself, we had to do it on our own and negotiate for ourselves. Like our moms, you're Hispanic, right?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming your mom and my mom, they didn't know much about the route of playing college football or when you come out of high school.
Not at all.
So pretty much we're on our own, trying to bargain and negotiate our own terms.
That's like 17-year-old, still.
Yeah, like what do we know? What do we know? So definitely do your homework, guys. So in high school, right?
Right.
Did you take your SAT and ACT like senior year, junior year, sophomore year? Like what, were you prepared for college or did you kind of do things like winging it or?
No. I mean, my dream was always to go play college football. So
Okay.
like I already had a plan, a blueprint. I took my
Okay.
ACT junior year and then took my SAT senior year.
Okay.
So I took them like in like a widespread margin. So just so I didn't want to cram everything in.
Smart.
Right.
Smart.
Like
Okay.
I know every professor says take them both your junior year so you could enjoy senior year.
Mhm.
For some that may work. For some personally that would not work for me because I felt like I was doing way too much.
Gotcha.
You get me? Like I was just like scrambling everything. And
Gotcha.
personally, I wouldn't have done that. So
Yeah, no, focus on one thing at a time.
Right.
Okay. Cool. Oh, that's a good one. All right. So let's go back. So you're at this school. They moved your positions twice.
Right.
Continue. So what happens after that?
just putting in work every day. 5 a.m. lifts, going to class every day, and while I'm in there, I'm struggling with class. Adapting from that high school to college is very rough.
We're gonna talk about that now,
especially that first semester. We'll get back to it like you said, but I mean we're having scrimmages against other schools, games, and I'm getting my playing time. And I think like my first game it went pretty well. I had the butterflies, whatever.
Normal.
Yeah, right. Second game, I started like already like calming down. Like everything. I screwed up. I get bombed, taking out the game. So
Okay.
now I'm like in the gutter. And I'm like, God damn, now I gotta work my way back up to get the trust, the reps and stuff. And every week, just like I felt like I got better every single week. And then this is what things started to go south. So like I'd say 2 weeks before the season was over, they kicked somebody out of the team for like disciplinary actions or whatever.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, so it's my time to move up, right? Like it's my time to go show what I got. And I've shown that I go to class. I don't miss class. I show up. I'm the first one in the field, last one to leave. I give my best in the weight rooms and stuff. And then all of a sudden they put another guy in front of me that I'm just like, bro, this guy's not better than me. And then we had a meeting that day and I go up to my coach and I'm like, coach, like, what did I do wrong? He just tells me all this stuff, which I thought it was,
It was BS, yeah.
Yeah. So what I do, I just keep my mouth shut and I keep working. And it turns out that same week, the guy they put in got bombed twice for a touchdown. And then when I go in, I'm making plays. I'm doing my assignments. I'm doing my thing. And like at the end of the game, I'm just considering, I'm like, man, like this first year was a little rough, but
hey, you're pissed off.
Yeah. Like, I'm obviously hungry for more. But at the same time, I was grateful for the opportunity given to me. So I was like, you know what? I want to see how spring ball goes. I want to stay right here. And I want to put in the work because I want to be a starting corner for this team. I want to be here. Like I don't want to transfer.
Hey, you want to make it work. You don't want to quit. You want to make it work.
Exactly. Because in life I've never been a quitter. And like there's one thing I'll tell you right now. Like my last year playing football, my head coach drilled this into my head. Whether it's work, life, football, being husband, wife, you want to be the best at everything. Literally every single thing in life. But we'll get to that. So that was the first end of the season, and just I go into the meeting room, and the coach tells me what I got to do better, what I do good, what I do bad, and I just take it all in. I'm like, okay,
Do you feel like the coach was like that post-season, interview where like they give you feedback, you give them feedback? Do you feel like that was everyone was being honest, or you feel like they were just giving you political BS or a mixture of both?
I think so. I think that's the first school had a lot of political BS, and I'll tell you about my sophomore year why. Because I mean, as a freshman, I didn't know, but once like
now you're learning.
Yeah, now you're really learning how this game goes around.
Right.
But I thought it was political BS or whatever, and then whatever, going to the off season, lifting weights. I finished my first semester in college, and I did so bad. Like horrendous.
Do you remember what your GPA was? Or
bro, like a 1.6. I was in the gutter. I was down bad, man. And I literally I go home and I start crying because I'm like, bro, I don't even know if I'm gonna how am I gonna get back to school or whatever. And thankfully, the school did give me another chance to like redeem myself in the academic aspect. I was ineligible until spring ball where I was able to get my GPA up.
Nice.
So I ended up going back, with more to prove, not just in the field, but academically.
Right.
And that whole semester, like I did amazing academically, But also in the first semester, I did get set up with some bad classes, that I wasn't ready for.
So let's talk about that. So I went to South Miami High School, and my grades were given to me for the most part. So I didn't know how to take, like, let's say someone's giving a lecture. I didn't know how to take notes.
Right.
I didn't know how to read something and not just write everything down, like know how to make little bullets of like important points. I didn't know how to write a paper. I didn't know what a thesis was. I didn't know, there were so many things that I wasn't prepared for. Do you feel like coming out of high school, you know, like going into college, do you feel like it was overwhelming, or do you feel like it was a lack of effort on your part, or do you feel like it was just, you were just flying blind, or what do you think?
I feel like I could have definitely done better in high school to learn, but at the same time, I was flying blind, you know, like
That's how I felt too.
I mean, personally, Braddock didn't do its best educationally to like teach me how to, you know, take notes. You know, like you said, I didn't even know how to write a paper my freshman year either. So
Yeah.
so like we were both in the same boat at that time.
I'll never forget getting feedback on a paper. I have never seen so many markings on a paper. Like grammar, punctuation, indent here, this, that, the margins of the paper, like where it's supposed to be. It needs to be double spaced, the header, the this and the that. I'm like, bro, this is like, I'm just trying to like keep my head afloat, you know? And the teacher's ripping me. He's not doing anything wrong. He's just doing his job.
Yeah, he's trying to make you better.
But I'm like, man, like I really don't know ish. Like I don't know anything about this, you know?
Right. And same way with me. My freshman year where I took English grammar, I mean, I ended up passing and stuff, but dude, like my first paper comes in and same thing. It's just, where's the question mark? Proper comma. Make sure your headlines are correct. Your and your, you know? So all of that. And I'm just like, Jesus, man.
Like I thought I did good.
Right.
Oh man. All right. So spring semester. So what changed from fall to spring? Like what made you get that GPA back up? Like was it more focused? Did someone help you outside? Like a lab? Like how did you make that change?
Well, for most part, I did a lot of work myself. You know, I locked in and I was like, school comes first. You know, like this football thing is for fun at the end of the day. You know, I'm like realistically, I'm not going to the NFL. So I got to get my education right. And also my advisor helped me out a lot. And I'm still grateful to this day. I still keep in contact with her, matter of fact.
Man, a good advisor goes a long way, man.
She's great advisor, even better person, man. So like in class, like even in my major, she'll be on me, but for the right reasons, you know?
Yeah, to see you get better.
Yeah. And like she definitely helped me get better. And that helped me out a lot. And then also I did a lot of tutoring that semester too, to make sure my GPA was right where it needed to be.
And that's another thing I'll touch up on, guys. So let's say you're like us, you're from Miami. Especially, I'm sure you'll agree, that first semester, you're going to be super homesick. Like he was saying, he was crying. I cried as well. Like my mom and I, single mother home. So like, I was like, man, we're going our separate ways. Like it was very emotional. At the time I was with my ex-girlfriend. So like, it was just a lot of adjustments, man. I'm leaving all my friends. My ex, you know, we were still together. My mom, you know, it was like so many things to process all at the same time. And then besides all that, you still have to perform on the field. Right. You still have to be a student, which we weren't even prepared for to begin with. Not at all. So not only are we homesick, right? We're not happy about where we're at. It's cold, you know? Yeah, right. You know, you're making adjustments. You have to learn how to be a student in that first semester, and you have to perform on the field. It can be overwhelming. So if you're one of those people that you have to juggle all these things, that's perfectly normal. My suggestion is definitely don't wait until, because my GPA was terrible my first semester and my first year. And I didn't start going to labs till after the fact. At that point, I'm already in a hole. I'm already in a hole GPA wise. So I would say if you're struggling in class, hop on it right away. Hop on it right away. Get in the lab. Do not be embarrassed needing help. There are people in school that are getting paid to do this, to tutor you, to help you. And if your professor is an a-hole, there's another route, because I had professors that didn't really want to help me. They just wanted to collect checks. But that doesn't mean that there aren't people that can help you though. You know what I'm saying? You got to go labs. You got to email some people. Find routes. Don't just drown. Right. You know what I mean? Don't just drown. Most definitely. So, and I can definitely relate to that for sure.
Something that did help me, like not in some instances, but there are some teachers that actually want to see you succeed. You know, they don't do it for a paycheck. They do it for the students. They try to, you know, give back. So that definitely helped me out a lot. Like contacting with the professors, you know, be like, hey, what am I doing wrong? Yeah. And that helped me a long way from that spring semester all the way to graduation.
Guys, and what Manny said is another thing too. So you talking to your professor on the regular, even if you have an F. Yes. If they see that you are taking the effort, like, what am I doing wrong? You know, like we're talking about English, right? I'm doing these papers wrong. I'm not doing it because of lack of effort. I just don't know. Right. You know what I'm saying? So if professors are human, man. So if you don't contact them, they're like, oh, this Manny A doesn't care about his grades. But little do they know that you're learning how to be a student your first semester. Right. Like you're not doing it on purpose, you know? So definitely emailing your professor, being transparent, letting your professor know, hey, I'm really struggling here. what do I do? And most professors will be like, all right, you can go to the library, talk to these tutors, or they'll tell you directly, look, you got to change this, this, and this. You can come, and every professor usually has office hours. That's mandatory. They have to have office hours. So even if they're mean or they don't want to help you, they have to have office hours, and you can stop in and ask them for feedback, whether they want to or not. And if they're not doing that, you can get them in trouble with the dean, with so they have to do that. So it's definitely possible for you to find help, but it's on you as a student athlete. Like Manny said, prioritize being a student first, because without your GPA, you cannot play. Doesn't matter how good of an athlete you are. And then after that, you handle business on the field or on the court or whatever sport you play.
There's so many like guys that even from freshman to senior year of high school and college that were so talented in that football field, could have been special. And that GPA just kept them from being from there.
There's so many people in Miami like that. So many athletes.
Right. And literally you could do the bare minimum and just show up to class.
Yeah.
So I guess some people, find that to be too much.
Speaking of class, so was your school a big school, or like were the classrooms like auditoriums, or was it a small class setting?
It was a small class. I'd say 15 to 20 people. Just like, you're a regular high school.
Yeah. So I don't know what your preference is, but I personally, so when you guys are looking at colleges that you might be attending, that is something that you should look into. So for example, when I went to Kansas State and Bowling Green State, the classrooms were auditoriums. So I never had to go, and I didn't go. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're in a small class setting, so when I transferred to a Division II school, when I finally got my GPA up, because I was eating, and then I finally became a student, learned how to do everything, right? I went to a Division II school where it was a small class setting. Every time I missed a class, my coach knew that. Yeah. The professor's like, oh, you play football? Bet. I'm emailing your coach, hey, so-and-so and so-and-so, they missed today.
Oh yeah.
So by the time I got to practice, I'm there and I'm staying, and like, yo, hang back for a second. And I got punished for like 30 minutes of just conditioning because I missed class. So if you're somebody that you feel like you want to be held more accountable and you want people to be more on top of you and you want a more individualized attention, a smaller, like maybe D1 AA school, Division II schools, the classroom settings are smaller, so you get that attention. If you go to really, really big D1 schools, it's auditoriums filled with like hundreds of kids or 100 kids where the professor doesn't know who you are. Even if you email them, you're just an email, you're just a number. So if you have a good educational discipline, then, go to that D1 school and do what you got to do. But if you feel like you're going to you're kind of waver, you're going to slack a little bit, maybe give those D1 AA schools, those Division 2 or 3 schools, a little bit more attention to personalize yourself, and so you can have the best GPA possible to succeed. Because if you fail a semester, the way financial aid works is we already paid you.
Right.
So whether you get your credits or not, we paid you. You owe us, or whatever your deal is.
Whatever it may be.
Yeah. Like whether you get A's or F's, you owe us money or whatever we paid you. That's it. On to the next semester. Now it's a new chapter. So definitely don't take it lightly, guys. Learn from our mistakes. Like take the education serious so you can play, right away for sure. So where were we with the thing? So were you at your second school yet? No, we were still at the first school.
Okay. Like second semester, like spring semester.
Okay.
So we go into other lifts, and the coach who told me everything just vanished. He's still with the coaching staff, but he just vanished all of a sudden. And I'm like, bro, how is this guy, supposed to see how I'm getting better if he's not even here?
Right.
Like, something's not adding up. But I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I'm not gonna question it. Like, this is college for a reason. We get our DB coach to be our weightlifting coach, which to this day I'm grateful for that guy. Like he helped me out a lot, considering I was like in a bad position. Mm-hmm. He did help me out a lot. So I just worked as hard as I can in the classroom, in the weight room, whatever. But I started to notice every day, like our star players start to go missing. So I'm like, bro, like, what is like? Are they gonna go? Like, are they gonna get punished for not showing up? Like, what is going on? So whatever. I keep questioning, and then come spring ball, all of a sudden, voila, everybody shows up. The coach that vanished is here. Our star players all of a sudden showing up, and I'm like, bro, where were you guys when I was putting in the work? This is BS.
Right.
So then we go into like the depth chart, and I'm back to like the same position I was, and I'm like, bro, what is going on? He wasn't here. This guy just got switched positions over here. He's starting
held
over
accountable.
Me. And I was very vocal about that. I was like, this is BS, whatever. And whatever. The coach just tried to like quiet me down, shut me down. And I'm like, no, I'm not having it, But me being me, I stayed working hard. I kept my head down and I worked and I worked and I worked. And like every day, I was making progress in spring ball. I was shutting down on wide receiver 1. I was stopping the run, this and that. And like even though we don't have pads, I'm looking good. Then come by and I tear my hamstring. So that's like already a setback I'm dealing with. And me being me, instead of like recovering, like stopping, I was like, no, screw that. I have something to prove. And I played with that to the point where eventually one day in practice, I just couldn't walk. My leg just froze. And I'm like, oh, what is
locked up on you?
Yeah, I'm like, bro, what is going on? And then like 2-3 days later, my hamstring doesn't even turn like morale. It turns black, bro.
That's a grade 3.
Right. Oh. And I was in so much pain. And the rehab sucked. And even then, I still had guys in the team that saying, oh, he faked an injury. And I'm like, bro, are you kidding me? Does this look fake to you?
Yeah, like the bruising's right here. What do you mean?
And we literally like in that training room, like the trainers were great, by the way. We had like a wall called the Wall of Pain. And it shows like all the injuries throughout the years. Yeah. And I remember my injury being right in the middle of that. And I'm like, bro, like you can't tell me that's fake. Like, come on, man. Like, what do you think I do? Paint myself in like at night? What is this, man?
Yeah.
So whatever. I just, I quiet the noise, All I could do is just go to practice, watch, get better.
And how long was the recovery? Like how much time till you got back on the field?
I think a month and a half.
That's not bad.
So it wasn't bad.
That's not bad.
And I felt good after.
It could be worse.
It could have been way worse. I definitely avoided something really bad. Cool. But I finished strong my spring semester. I finished good. Mm-hmm. B's, C's, A's here and there. So like I see progress starts rolling. So I'm like, even though it's not working out in the football field, it's working out here. As a matter of fact, let me touch one thing back that I also noticed in spring ball is wrong. So I had one of my great friends. He was transferring out of school. There's nothing personal against him, but when he comes back, he's starting. And I'm like, bro, this guy just tried to stab you in the back, and I'm here working. What?
You showed the loyalty. You're on the back burner as number 3 in the depth chart.
Right.
A guy tries to leave, he's starting.
Right. That's why I'm like, bro, like you're still like to this day, I'm still great friends with this guy. And I'm like, no offense to you, but like you don't deserve to.
This is BS. Yeah, you didn't work for that.
and like we even had this convo and I'm like, bro, they're doing you wrong. Like he even knew. And there's one of these guys are like the realest I've met to this day. Mm-hmm. He kept everything real with me, how I played, everything. I'm still grateful for that guy. Right. So, whatever, we all go home summer, they send us our workout plans, I'm still putting in the work, whatever. So come by. I'm looking a lot bigger, a lot leaner and stuff. And like the coaches surprised to see me. They're like, wow, we didn't think you're going to come back. And I'm like, well, here we are,
here we are. I'm loyal.
Right. Round 2. I said I was going to leave. Round 2. And I think that year's where I made the most bonds, to be honest, in that school.
Like with coaches or like players, like friends and stuff?
More players than coaches.
Gotcha,
and like that year, like we were predicted to like go like be a runner up for conference because we had so much talent, way more talent than the year before. The year before we had talent, but this year we had.
So they recruited well.
Yeah, we recruited guys.
Gotcha.
We were good. So everything's going good. I get moved up in the depth chart. Come first day, and I'm like, what? Like finally, like
I get the respect I deserve.
We're seeing progress. Yeah. First day of helmets come by, and I'm doing pretty good. I'm saying my assignments. I'm giving it 120% every single play. I'm not getting beat. And if I get beat, it's because the other guy made a great play. It happens. Yeah. Everybody gets beat.
Right.
So we're going on shells, whatever. And then come after the week, they put 3 freshmen in front of me starting. And I'm like, nah, this is a joke, right? And and all of a sudden I'm like confused. And then I remember after film day that day, like you literally heard me rage. Like I'm not the guy to scream, but you heard me raging in the room. And I was like, bro, I put in all this work and it took you 5 days to find a replacement for me who stayed loyal for a whole year. What is this, man? And they're like, no, just keep working. And I'm like, I have been working. They're like, work harder. I'm like, I'm the hardest worker in this team, respectfully. You got your star players who aren't even showing up and I'm here, you know? So at that point, I'm very pissed. And I'm like, you know what? If you're not going to respect me at corner, at least try me out at wide receiver. What I truly got recruited for. And then they pulled wait till next season.
Next season?
Yeah, right. We're 5 days into the season. Not even like 5 weeks. 5 days, man. Yeah. 5 days. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, you're not going to waste a year of my life because you feel like it. This is crap, Yeah.
And I have a question. Did you do that in the meeting room in front of everybody or you did it privately?
No, I did it privately. I was going to show my side to like the team, because then that would have created a whole more drama.
Sorry, my bad. So guys, what Manny did was the smart move. So if Manny would have blown up in the meeting room in front of all the DBs, the coach would have shut down. The coach's ego would have gotten inflamed. He would have buried Manny deeper. You know what I'm saying? So Manny did the right thing by seeing him individually on their own and having that, that man-to-man conversation. Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's fine. And as season went by, I noticed this coach just stopped caring about me. Like I will send messages, I need help, this and that. And he'll just leave me on red like this.
And I'm like, wow, so like you're the same guy that said I'm your number one guy. Like you basically brainwashed me into coming here. And you're putting all this, like this is absolute crap. And I was like,
frustrating.
you know what? Now my goal is to make your team pay by like showing me like I'm not the guy, you know. So every day in practice, like against the starters, I promise you, like I wouldn't do nothing dirty.
Yeah.
But like obviously, like I would just
playing your heart out.
playing my heart out, just you know, like giving the extra shoulder, you know, putting receivers down and stuff. And a lot of guys didn't like that. You know, they're like, yo, it's practice. And I'm like, no, this is
I gotta earn a spot. What do you mean?
Like, what do you mean? Like you're a starter. You weren't even here.
Yeah.
And I'm here, you know, putting in all the work, whatever. So much so that actually one of the starters try to like put his hands on me and fight me and stuff. And then like, and again, I'm thankful because some guys jumped in. They're like, yo, like you're a senior, you're putting your hands on a sophomore who's a kid. He's not even 20 years old. And you're 23.
Not only that, but you're just setting the tone. You're playing football. You're not playing dirty. You know what I'm saying? You're setting the tone.
No, and a lot of guys were like, bro, if you touch him one more time, we're gonna go back and we're gonna kick your ass. Like that. So whatever. So I'm slowly starting to earn my respect. We go into the scrimmage, you know. I played, you know, whatever. But you know, I still showed up. You know, I still did my assignments, whatever. Couple games, I don't play. And then we have again the scrimmages for the guys who don't get to play regular season, which a lot of D3s do have that. So again, in that whole season, I played my heart out. Even with freshmen starting over me, I played my heart out. And that whole year, I didn't give up a touchdown nor a bomb when I was in. And then it was week in, week out, just doing my assignments, you know, showing I'm the guy, you know, locking the receivers down, you know. And then this was when I really knew it was time to go. So we're playing this school called Bethany. We traveled 2 hours to West Virginia to play. And then I think like I don't get in the first quarter. And I'm like, all right, bro, like this is ridiculous. Like second quarter rolls by, I finally get put in the game. I'm like, wow, finally. I go in and I get like 2 tackles on a starting receiver. That get incompletion. And then on that same drive, there was a jump ball that I almost came down and the guy swapped it up from my hands. But I was showing like my true colors finally. I was like, bro,
you're making plays.
I was like, this is what happens when you show, like when you give me my time, my show, you know? And then we're playing, like I'm getting in, taking out the game, pulling out. And then comes fourth quarter where you need your guys the most. I wasn't in the field. And what happens? Back-to-back touchdowns happen. And my best friend Brandon, not the one we trained.
Not the one. Okay, no, Brandon.
I actually went against him in one of those scrimmages my sophomore year against him. Nice. He played good that game.
So they started the freshman in that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And then he got scored on twice.
Yeah. And I'm like, wow, like I was just laughing. Guys were like, what's wrong with you? This and that. And I'm like, the scoreboard tells it for itself, right?
Yeah.
Like this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, and then Brandon comes by and was like, bro, like I feel like I'm sick to my stomach that they didn't even put you in. I was in that drive and they didn't put you in. And I'm like, bro, I gotta do something about it, you know, whatever. So as I'm in that bus, I am just, like I said, sliding in the DMs to coaches everywhere. I'm just sliding. I'm like, oh, like I'm looking for a chance, you know, this and that. I have my heart already, whatever. Like so a season goes on, you know, again, like I have no more contact with this coach. Like the relationship is just bland, you know.
Yeah.
We went from talking to helping me out to just bland. My DB coach is still trying to push me there. But eventually he announced that he's leaving after the season because you know he's getting married. He's gonna live a life somewhere. And I was like, you know what? Good for you, man. You know, I wish you the best. And then as soon as the scrimmages end, I ask him next day in practice, I'm like, oh, since I have no more purpose in the season, there's 3 weeks left. Can I at least do some work at scout team receiver? And this came a long way, and I'll show you how. And then during those 3 weeks of scout team receiver, I embarrassed the first team defense. Like it was bad.
It must have felt good, huh?
No, it felt great. It felt amazing. And like I could see like in the coach's eyes that they were getting pissed. They're like, bro, how's this kid catching the ball? How's he doing this? Almost as if they don't want me to do that, you know?
Yeah.
So whatever, like I finished my season, whatever. And then come last week of the season, like we extended our season till Thanksgiving. And I'm like, this program isn't worth me staying for Thanksgiving. Screw this.
And you left?
Yes,
cleared it?
Yep.
Okay.
No, and like I did something like after that too. So like I think our game was Saturday. I left on a Wednesday. I literally put my helmet in there, pads, everything. I just locked and I didn't tell anybody. I just went home. Obviously, I told my close friends, you know, whatever. And then come back and the coach was pissed. He's like, where were you come this game? And I'm like, home. I told him straight up home and he just walked away. Like that. And then at that point, I'm like, I'm not even part of this team anymore. You know, obviously, I haven't said anything to the coaches. And then eventually, Chestnut Hill College, which was my second school, ends up reaching out to me. He's like, how would you like to come on a visit this weekend? And I'm like, well, I'm in college. I'm like, this is kind of dirty, but you know what? Let's go. I like at this point,
you don't owe them any loyalty.
I don't owe the school nothing.
Right.
Nothing at all.
Right.
So I go in and the visit went great. You know, like I was like, you know what, this is where I want to be in my last 3 years, whatever. And I was like, let's do this. You know, and this time I was sure I was making the right choice.
So, did you visit the first school?
No, I didn't.
So that's definitely, guys, another thing to touch on. If you have the time, if you don't do like a last minute commit, 100% visit the school you're trying to commit to.
Yep.
Because when you go on these trips, if you've never gone on a school visit, you meet some of the players. So just like we said earlier about like, you know, Twitter and messaging them, you can have those conversations face to face and ask the guys, yo, like how's the DB coach, you know, like, or how's the receiver coach, you know, how's it like this? What grade are the starters in? So that's a big one too. Like if you want to start right away, so like Manny in his story, you're going to be a junior at this point, right?
Yeah,
So he's going to be a junior. A good question for Manny to ask the people that are going on tour with him, right, on the school tour, is you ask the guys, yo, so if he wants to play corner, so what, the two corners that are starting, what grades are they in? Are they seniors? Are they freshmen? And where are they at? So that can give you an inclination towards what school to commit to, because ultimately your goal is to get on the field or on the court, right? So knowing what class, what grade, or how much eligibility those players have left should be something to help you, you know, make that decision for sure.
And to piggyback off that, not even just me, but like I saw a lot of players that were close friends. Like I said, we had so much talent that year, and we went 2-8. And like a lot of players were pissed because like, bro, like we feel like we're better than this guy.
Talent's irrelevant if he's bad coaching.
Right, exactly.
It's irrelevant.
Like a lot of talent is going to waste, and a lot of my friends were like, bro, let's just ride together. Let's go somewhere, this and that. And I'm like, I don't know about you guys, but I already have a home.
Yeah, I'm going to Chestnut. I'm out of here.
I'm
Deuces.
Right. And then comes fresh. Like, so I finished out the semester or whatever, you know, great grades once again, putting in that work. My advisor is helping me a lot.
That felt good, huh?
Yeah, right, man. And like for the first time ever from high school, my GPA is over a 3.0.
Let's go.
And I'm like, let's go. Like, even though the field's not working out, like at least academically, I'm doing great.
You're doing the best you can in your power to handle business.
Right. So and come January, I'm like, bro, I need to do something. I don't want to stay inactive for like from January to May. Right. So I decided to run track. And those 5-6 months I ran track, I had a way better time than those 2 years of playing football, because the coach really cared about me, you know. And like, I wish I could have stayed, but you know, track wasn't my sport. You know, I was just doing it to get better. But to this day, I'm still thankful for that guy as well for giving me a chance to be
a good coach goes a long way, even if it's not in your sport, bro. You feel the love, you know, like you know the difference when a coach really wants what's best for you.
Right, just push me every day, fixing my technique, being picky, being nappy about it, you know, and that helped me out a lot. I wasn't no track star, but obviously, like every time I ran, my time got better and better and better and better and better. So come January, the coach told me, "Oh, you got one last step to do. Go to the head coach's office," which again, like I basically never even talked to.
Right.
Go to the head coach's office and tell him like you're done with the program. I'm like, that shouldn't be a problem. So I go into the office. I'm like, hey,
you're
coach.
like, gladly.
Yeah. But I have a big smile on my face, and I'm like, hey, coach, you know, I'm thankful for everything you've given me, but I mean, it's time for me to move on. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, oh, you know, obviously I felt like I haven't been respected in the field. I felt like I haven't been given me the chance for everything, and it's just my time to move on. You know. Like,
was he aware of how you felt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and just didn't do anything about it.
Okay.
Which is completely messed up.
Right. He's the head of the ship, and you didn't do
right. Right. And he even knew, because my defense coordinator told me, he told him how I felt. And then I was like, oh, it's time to go, this and that. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. You know, I wish you the best. 5 minutes after I get out that meeting, my huddle gets deleted. So I'm like,
petty.
All right. I'm like, all right. It's going from south to like even more south. So like now this is personal.
So pause real quick. So for those of you that don't know what a huddle is, that's Manny's tool. That's like his business card. So Manny made any plays that Manny made in those first 2 years at school. His huddle has that. So the head coach taking away access to his huddle, that prohibits him from sending his film to other schools. So essentially, he's blackballing him. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Right. And then after that gets done, I'm very vocal about this. And like a lot of players start to notice I'm finally stepping up for myself. And you know, they want to bring me down. Every day in track practice, they're like, oh, I hope you suck. I hope, like, they're basically just throwing everything at me. And everything to me is just noise, you know, like block out the noise. Matter of fact, I will even go to the field with my close friends and we get better. And the coaches would try to kick me out. Players would try to kick me out. Players would talk from miles away, and I'll be like, you want to prove something to me? Let's go right here, right now. And matter of fact, I carry 2 and 3 cleats in my bag for that reason. If you want to talk, I got a spare spare cleats right there so I could put on and embarrass you right in front of your coach, your girlfriend, your parents, whoever, you know?
Yeah.
So I kept doing that. Even in the weight room, they'll try to kick me out. And I'm like, no, I'm not having this, you know? And there's a lot of threats giving my way that I'm
all because you're just trying to do something what's best for you.
right. At the end of the day, like I'm not even harming you. I'm not harming you. I'm not harming anybody.
You're trying
I'm
to better yourself.
right. And then me being the hothead, I was, nothing ever happened. But I was like, you want to do something about it? Bring it. I was
Right.
like, you know where I stay.
Yeah.
I am here, you know?
Yeah.
And it was all just noise, all just talk.
And then, so at least you got your grades. That's awesome. You're
Right.
smashing it in the classroom. So question, when you transferred to Chestnut, did all your credits transfer over?
Most of them.
Okay.
Most of them.
So that's, you see how Manny just said most? So this is the lesson that I had to learn. So I bounced
Right.
around to a bunch of schools. Manny was fortunate enough to bounce once and he found his home. Me personally, I had to bounce to multiple schools. So as I was bouncing from school to school, I was losing the transfer credits.
Right.
So I'm putting time in either at least 12 to 15 credits per semester, but then I go to another school and I'm getting 9.
Right.
I'm getting 6.
Like that's
So the time and money that I'm putting into one school, it's not going to this school. So you guys need to be very aware of how and if credits even transfer over. You were fortunate enough that most of them did.
right.
What if you would have gone to that school and they gave you half?
Bro,
Can you imagine
I
that?
would have been heartbroken.
All that work you put in to get your grades up and then they would have only given you a portion of it. So guys, be very mindful if you are in the position in college where unfortunately you don't like where you're at and you're dealing with something that Manny and I have dealt with in the past. Do your homework, talk to your advisors, see what credits transfer over. Another way for you to avoid credits not transferring over, especially on your freshman and sophomore year, take general education credits.
Yep.
General education credits, right?
Or major credits. Major
Yeah.
credits go a long way too.
Yeah.
That's how I got most of mine. I knew what I was getting myself into when I was already plotting
Yeah.
me like going out my way to school or whatever.
Yeah.
So and then after the semester's over, come summertime, that's when like I start hitting people up. I'm like, oh, I need a trainer. I need someone's gonna help me better. You know, I need like that coach that I've never like I had him in high school. But I need that coach like in the offseason is gonna push me. And then that's when I got with Pro Style Athletics. I don't know if you heard of them or not.
No.
But like they're basically just weightlifting and then some field work. But I was like, I need a field coach.
Right.
And that's when Austin Chacon was like, bro,
Yeah.
this is the guy.
I got the guy.
And just for the first 2 sessions, I'm like, bro, this guy's gonna get me a lot better. And I remember every session, you know, when I was frustrated, happy, mad, you would nitpick my little, like, you know, like what I would do.
I was
wrong.
on you. Yeah.
But it was all out of love. And I understood that. And I was like, bro, I wish I had this going to college, man. You know, and we've talked about that a lot.
Yeah,
you know?
we have.
But you saw my progress from there to there get better.
It was big.
It was
big. You were
huge.
taking leaps and bounds.
Yeah. And then like 2 weeks before the season came by, the head coach that recruited me stepped down. And I'm like, bro, we have no head
At
coach.
Chestnut?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
man.
I'm like, I just took a big hit right there.
Right.
You know, like our head coach stepped down and like some other coaches stepped down because the one who took over, some people, like some coaches weren't like very, like, I guess they didn't like him or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, bro. So I'm back from scratch.
Yeah. So guys, so if you don't know, so I know every sport is different with the coaching, but in football, generally, if the head coach, like in Manny's situation, if the head coach steps down, more than likely, all the assistant coaches are going to just poof. They're just going to go their own separate ways or go with the head coach. So that puts Manny in a really tough position because he already committed. He already left one school. He's in limbo. He's
Right.
trying to go to Chestnut, and then the guy leaves from Chestnut, you know? So,
Right. So we go in, like, you know, I like the first head coach was good. He was good people. You know, he was more of a athlete student instead of student athlete. So
Okay.
we had
Okay.
a backwards coach's time.
Okay.
But I mean, throughout the semester, I didn't really struggle. Like I already knew what I was getting myself into class. You know, I knew how to write papers, whatever.
You knew the formula now to
Yeah,
succeed.
yeah, in the classroom at least. But come the football field, you know, I go from being recruited to a DB to an outside linebacker because I did put on weight, you know.
Mhm.
So I'm like, you know what? I was like, you know what? This happened once already, but let's do it, you know. And as an outside linebacker, get this, I was like throughout the whole season, I was leading the team in picks in practice. I was literally like an interception. And I'm not picking
Yeah.
up the third string quarterback. No, I'm picking up the first team and the second team.
Right.
You know, come first game, I didn't get that much action because, you know, defensive coordinator, like me and the defensive coordinator got like bumped heads a lot.
Mhm.
But I still, you
I know what that's like.
Yeah. And I would prove him wrong a lot of times in practice. I'm like, bro, like I'm doing what you're telling me to do. Like this guy doesn't deserve to be here. I am better than him. You know, and like it's a selfish mentality, but at the same time, it's a mentality that you gotta have in a team sport. You know, like if you truly feel you're better and you're showing it, you know, you gotta speak out.
Yep.
And like I'm leading the team in picks as an outside linebacker, not a corner, not a strong safety, not a free safety. That's an outside linebacker. What does that tell you? This guy's a playmaker, right? And I'm making tackles behind the line of scrimmage, everything. First play, like first game, I didn't really, I touched the field, but it was garbage time. Come my second game, I get 2 interceptions that same practice. The second interception, I stepped bad in my Achilles. And like, I guess I sprained it because like I was walking by and then all of a sudden I felt it like give up on me. And I'm like, oof. I was like, this is not good.
Something's off. Yeah.
And then I was on that walking boot for like 2 weeks. And then when I come back, I'm still making plays and like I see the defensive coordinator is like long gone away from me. Like he doesn't even want like not even speak with me, but like, he doesn't want to see me on the field. I don't know what it is. And I go 3 weeks without playing. And this is where it really got me that I sent you a text message the one time. We went to West Virginia, which was 8 hours away from school. We had a long bus drive. And I'm like, bro, at least I'm hoping to like get on special teams or something,
Right.
And like the special teams coach didn't even give me a chance to like go on special teams once I came back from injury. I was on special teams prior to the injury, but when I came back, he just took me off completely.
You, yeah.
And I'm like, bro, like, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed.
Right.
I've never said anything. And then I don't play that West Virginia game. And that's where like I text, like, this is the first time I went up to a coach and I'm like, okay, what am I doing wrong? And that's when I showed you the text that they're like, oh, you're not doing anything wrong, but you're not ready for game day. And bro, that's the first time I ever questioned, like, I sent you that text message and you're like, bro, honestly, I don't even know what to tell you. Like, you didn't even know. And that, like, I went to bed that night, like, I cried myself to sleep because I was like, bro, am I this bad at football? Do I suck this much that like,
I questioned everything?
Yeah, like, is this even worth playing? Like, has my like last 7 or 8 years been a lie? And like, I'm in the gutter right now. Like, I'm homesick. Like, I'm like, bro, like maybe this was a mistake. You
thought you were going into a better situation.
Yeah, I'm back from square one. And then I just stick out the season, whatever. I get in a couple of times, just mostly garbage time, whatever. And then after that season, that's when I told you, I'm like, bro, I'm hanging up the cleats. Like, it's time. Like, it's frustrating. It's time to move on to something else. Maybe I just do track just to like get my mind off school or whatever. And then a week after, they announced that they're doing head coach opening positions, and I'm like, again,
right?
Like, this is like the fourth head coach I get, or like third head coach I get in 4 years, And then I went to every one of those interviews. I wasn't off the team yet. I went out to every single one of those interviews, and this is where like it really got me. The last guy, his name is Gio Thomas. He's still coaching at Chestnut Hill. Came in and made valid points. He made valid points on why he needs to be the head coach for this program going forward, and that really like surprised me because like. Every other coach is just, I want to be the head coach, whatever. Meh.
Right.
This one was like, I want to be here so I could make this program to the next level. I want to take this program to the next step. We always come shy of winning a championship. Now it's the time to go, And like, he even brought a whole folder of people that's like, oh, this is my recruiting list right here. And like, each page is like this thick. So he had names to bring in case people were bouncing or not.
Right.
A week passed by and he's the new head coach and he wants to get to know all of us better, this and that. And then again, here I made a lot of grateful like friendships throughout the year. And then one of my teammates, Terrell Bush, he played corner there. He went up to the coaches like, oh, talk to this guy. Like I said, me, like he's special. Is that he just has his mind lost right now. And this guy reached out to me and was like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, I'm just talking. And I'm like, he knows like in my voice that like, I don't even
not that interested.
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah. And he's like, oh, so what's the matter? Like, what's the matter with you? And I would show him the text messages. I would show him everything. He's like, and like, when he saw a text message, he's like, what the hell does this mean? Like, you're not ready for game day?
Yeah.
He's like, what? Like, and like, basically, like, I'm back all in, Like, he basically brings me back into the program. Yeah, he brought me life back into the program. Like, he makes me feel wanting to be here,
That's awesome.
So we end off in a good note. Come 2020 spring season, like a lot of guys are ineligible to play, grades, like I've told you. And then he saw my what was it? He saw my scout team receiving catches and everything. Like when I played scout team for Geneva. And he was like, bro, I see you have great hands, you have size. How would you like to play tight end for me? And I was like, I would fucking love to.
You're like, yes. You're like,
I was like, yes. I finally get a chance to play offense. And I'm
about
like,
time.
Yeah, right. And then this was where things like even got crazier. The guy who was like our first string tight end was ineligible. Like his grade was bad, man. Like he was a hell of a player, great person. His grades were just bad. And the second guy, he had to get jaw surgery, and like he was done for the season. So this just
opportunity knocked.
Yeah, this just put me in a role right there. Like right. I'm there. And then, guys start to miss class. And this is what what I was telling you about missing class. We had like 1 or 2 guys miss class that day, and instead of punishing like just those 2 individuals, he punished everybody. So he's pissed. He's
That's
like,
the signs of a good coach, though.
yeah, no, a great coach. Like I told you, this guy's a great coach, even better person. And he was like, I want everybody at 7 p.m. in the weight room. I don't care if you have class. I don't care if you have meetings. I don't care if you have anything. I want
those
everybody.
text messages.
Yep. And like everybody was excused, basically. Like teachers knew, everybody's new. And he was like, I want everybody here. Or if not, don't ever bother showing your face into my office ever again. Like that. And bro, I'm telling you, it was like it was basically a military workout. We had to do like push-ups, then planks, then up downs, then pull-ups. And bro, like everyone's hands were like shaking. Everyone's hands were bleeding from the pull-ups and everything. And everyone's like, bro, this guy's a real deal. This guy obviously like
Holding you accountable.
Yeah, he's a student athlete head coach. If you don't have the grades, well, too bad. You're done. Basically.
Yeah, he has the right values.
Yeah. And like the off-season is going great, whatever. COVID hits. And I'm like,
oh my God, that's right. I forgot about that.
Right. So basically I'm forced to go back home, like random as hell. I go back, I go right back to school after spring break. 2 days later, it's like, yeah, you got to pack your stuff and go home. And my coach was like, oh, I'm so sorry this happened. I'm like, honestly, like there's nothing you could have controlled. You didn't see this coming. No one saw this coming, So all of a sudden I'm back home. He's sending me like workout plans or whatever. And then I'm just, staying true to the program, whatever he recruits in guys. And then that's when I reached out to you in summer. I'm like, oh, it's time.
Yeah.
And then you saw me at receiver. I looked way crispier, way better. And we had those one-on-ones and you were impressed. You're like, oh crap. Like this is what was being held back 3 years in college to now,
Right.
And like while you're helping me get better, I showed what I had and I showed why I should be the guy, So, long story short, like 2021, like 2020 to 2021, the whole year, it was everyone's season got canceled except, the big D1 schools. And I'm still putting in work. I'm still going to the weight room. I'm still, doing everything. Like online classes sucked.
I bet.
No, that was horrible. But I still stayed true to everything. I
kept your grades up.
Right. And then I'm getting ready to go to college. And right before that, he goes, oh, we have a conditioning test that you gotta pass your first day. If not, you're not playing. And a lot of guys weren't ready that first day, man. I personally stayed in shape. You saw,
of course.
We were doing the 300 dash or whatever.
Yeah,
that was the test, and a lot of guys failed that, man.
I bet.
So everything goes good. Like just from the first day of being there playing offense, I felt comfortable, man.
Felt at home.
I felt great. So much so that like in the first week, the coaches were ready to like call me the starter, and they did.
Nice.
And
what a good feeling,
right, bro? Like I felt like I was on top of the world. And honestly, even though my time was short lived in that senior year, I was happy every day. I finally went to practice every day being happy.
And tell me if I'm wrong, but like, did it feel like everything kind of made sense?
Yeah.
You went from questioning everything to almost quitting because like nobody was giving you a fair chance to, man, like this finally fell into place,
Right. Like I'm on top of the world right now, and then every day I was happy, like even when I lost reps, I was happy because I got to learn, When I win reps, I was happy because I got to show what I have, and I was I told everybody, I was like, it's nothing personal in practice, but if I hit you as hard as I can, it's because I want to make a name for myself. Like I've been held back for way too many years. Yeah. It's time for me to show who I am. And then right before our first scrimmage, I'm running a route and I feel my knee just pop and I fall to the ground and I'm like screaming in pain. And I'm like, what the hell is going on now, man? I'm like, no. I'm like, no.
You were like at the cusp of like being right there.
Right. And then, I get up and I don't have struggle walking. Come next day, my knee and my calf is a balloon. And I'm in pain. I'm like screaming and everything, like crying and stuff. And then we're going week in, week out, having therapy. The coach wants me back. Like even when I was hurt, these coaches are like, bro, we want you to get better because we want you on that field. You deserve this, Right. Even the players were like, bro, you deserve this. You deserve to be here with us, And then through many tests, like X-rays, MRIs, whatever. And I'm never gonna forget this day because it was rough. I go into the hospital and I'm there praying for my dear life. I'm like, bro, don't let this be the end of the season.
Right.
And the doctor comes and goes, yeah, I'm sorry, you have a torn ACL, torn meniscus. And bro, from there on, I've never felt my life just pause. Like time just froze for me. Everything just froze and I stayed still. And like I tried so hard to like hold everything back. And then I just I let it all out. And then I remember her going to my coach's office like in shambles right now. Like I didn't even go to class. I didn't go anywhere. Like I just went to like to my coach's office, like literally with the same hoodie, just hooded down, not even talking to anybody. And I told him, and like some players heard it because they were outside because I had a meeting with him. And like he was like, "Oh, it's okay. Like I'm so sorry, this and that. You know, like it's not your fault. Like I love you, this and that." And it just got so emotional, so much so to like the end, like at the end of practice, I told everybody, and like everybody just came and like hugged me and everything. And we're like, "Oh, like we love you, this and that. Like you're tough as nails and everything." And that was like the one time when I'm like, bro, like I feel loved by a team. You know, like I got all these friends.
You didn't feel like an individual.
Yeah. I didn't feel like an outcast. You know, so whatever. Now at this point, I'm like on the back seat of just helping everybody as much as I can till the season's over and everything. You know, season ends. You know, school's over.
So at this point, are you graduating from school?
Yeah,
You're a senior, right?
Yep,
Okay.
I am. It's my last semester.
Okay.
I literally came back just to play football, and unfortunately that happens. But you know, we live and learn.
Yeah, man.
You know, and then like even so and so, like this coach to this day, like we still keep in contact. You know,
That's awesome.
I ask him how you feel about game day, what I see right, what I see wrong, how he feels about game day. You know, and like regardless, if I would have played that last year, I could tell you it would have been something special. You know, at least the connection we had, like just to succeed, it would have been special. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, you got that degree. You know, you achieved that goal.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
I ended up graduating with like a 3.3 GPA. So
awesome, bro. From a 1 point something to a 3.3.
Right. I literally from rags to riches, literally.
That's awesome, man. What'd you get your degree in?
Criminal justice,
Nice.
actually.
Nice, cool, man. So. So now that we summed up college, what's your takeaway from it? Do you feel like it benefited you? Do you feel like it helped you become a better person in certain ways? Was it what you expected it to be? Obviously, there were some curveballs, obviously.
Yeah.
But so what's your takeaway, general?
We could talk about, I think, individual. Like growing up, it definitely helped me grow up as a person. You know, I went from a young kid to a man.
Dealing with adversity would do that to you.
Right. Like just living by myself, living without my parents, you know, like finding a way to just live. You know, it helped me just be grateful for everything I have in life, you know. And then like bonds, likewise, I was able to build a lot of bonds throughout the years. I still keep in contact with a lot of guys to this day.
Same.
I could say classroom, yeah, like it kept me disciplined. Football also kept me disciplined. Like a lot of discipline. I say classroom wise.
You learn how to be a student.
Yeah, right.
You know how to be a student.
Right. I mean, would I say it's worth it? It depends on what you go. Because like I'm gonna be as blatant as I can. There's some colleges, not some colleges, some majors that I see that it's just a total scam.
Okay.
That's the reality of it. For example, business major. You don't have to go to college to be a business major. Like, what is that?
We spoke on that on the last episode.
Right. And then half the time, the professor who's teaching the class doesn't even have his own business. So it's like, bro, what you're teaching me is fraudulent. I am wasting my time coming here.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, personally for me, right now, I'm working for the federal government at TSA. I'm hoping to move up. And a lot of those jobs I'm looking for ask for a lot of those degrees. So is it helpful? For me, personally, it is.
To get a foot in the door, yeah.
Yeah. And I learned a lot about the system, a lot about everything in college. So I personally I thought it was worth it for me.
Awesome, man. Okay, so if you were to travel in time, and you can speak to your younger self, what would be like one or two pieces of advice you would give yourself?
That's hard. I would say first go all the way back to college. I mean, not all back, like senior year of high school. You know, just don't be so impatient. You should not pull the trigger, you know, like hold leverage. Because in times there's gonna be jobs, there's gonna be people, there's gonna be offers, like whether it's house, cars, whatever it may be.
There's options for everything.
Yeah. There's options where you can hold leverage to other people, you know, and like you learn that in college, you know. So
So be patient.
Yeah, I'd say be patient, hold leverage, and then I would also just, I mean, I tell myself this every day, but just keep your head down, keep working. You know, no matter how ugly the situation looks, eventually your time will come. You know, and even though it took me 4 years and didn't even pay off I wouldn't say not pay off, but like didn't go as planned as I wanted to. It worked out, you know.
Yeah, it made you who you are now.
Despite the knee injury, if that would not happen, I mean, it wouldn't have changed how I am right now. But it could have been special, you know. But either way, I'm thankful for that last year, for the head coach that was there, and for having my back all the time.
That's awesome, man. So we're gonna cap it off here. So what do you have any advice for young viewers, maybe in high school or middle school, high school, or maybe some seniors trying to go to college? Any little piece of advice you got for them?
Advice is just for mostly my high school people, just soak it all in, enjoy it, have fun. Because come college, you're really gonna
get real.
Yeah, you really know what stress is. You know, that party life you see in Blue Mountain State or whatever shows you see. That's like, don't get me wrong, it's real. But it will eat you alive.
Yeah, you need to sleep. You need to take care of yourself.
No, not even that. It will eat you alive, as in like body wise.
Right.
You know, like grades. It will destroy you. It will break you down. Yeah. Literally. And just
so take it all in.
Yep.
Enjoy it.
Yep. And at the other day for football, just have fun, man. At the other day, like I was so caught up in like trying to be great that I forgot to have fun up until my senior year. You know,
I hear you on that.
So just make the most out of it. Have fun, and just be who yourself, and make a lot of friendships. Friendships go a long way in
relationships.
Life.
Yes, sir.
Whether it's high school or college, believe me, I still have lots of friends from high school and college I speak to this day, and it goes a long way. You know, even from like miles away.
Yeah.
You know, it
doesn't change the bond.
No, not at all.
That's awesome, man. Well, that's it for us, guys. Please subscribe, like, and share, man. Manny, thank you for being here, bro.
It's a pleasure.
I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did.